Yo, what's up everybody? It's Cha-Cha here, and today we are talking about the best do-it-all budget reel on the market that I have found between fresh and saltwater. I tested it in both areas plenty, especially in the salt, and we're talking about the Shimano Ultegra, and I pair this up with a St. Croix Inshore Triumph 7-foot medium power fast action rod, and for the best bang for your buck, your freshwater species like largemouth bass, chain pickerel, smallmouth, all the way to your salt like redfish, striped bass, speckled trout, this reel has done me super duper well. So the reason I like this reel a lot is because, one, it's affordable. This comes in right now at right about 170 bucks from most retailers, which isn't too bad, especially if you're looking for a reel that is gonna last. And I am coming up on 2 years owning this reel. Haven't had it serviced once. I've cleaned it myself a little bit, but just the easy ins and outs and whatnot. But to get into the specs of this reel, this is a 4000 XG, Shimano calls it, and it has 24 pounds of drag, and it is a workhorse. Like I said, I've used it for kind of everything between, small chain pickerel and in the shallows all the way to big cow 40+ inch striped bass, and it has been able to handle quite well. And with the drags in these reels, everything from the 1000 to 4000 comes with a felt drag system, and then when you step up to the 5000, it has a cross carbon drag, which is Shimano's #1 drag system that they produce. And a big factor being the weight. So this isn't, your feather type reel where you barely know it's there. It isn't heavy. It's right at 9.5 ounces, which is fairly light for a 4000 series reel. What I use is a 6.2 to 1 gear ratio. That kind of covers all grounds. You can work something fast, like if you're working like, I don't know, like a spook, you're trying to take up line quickly, or you don't have to take up line so quick and you're just slow rolling a paddle tail. This can definitely do both. And they also come with 5+1 anti-rust bearings. And getting more into durability of this reel, Shimano, they've gotten to use a lot of their newer technology for their cheaper reels, which is nice. You don't have to break the bank to get a reel that's gonna last, it's gonna be able to perform as well as you want it to and keep you fishing on the water. So they have the Hagane technology, and I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it is the #1 kind of durability between gears. Like, they have the Hagane gears in here, not having to worry about your gear teeth chipping or breaking off or bending or anything like that. And a big thing I want to also talk about with the salt guys is the reel being sealed. So it's not a fully sealed reel. You won't find a fully sealed reel at this price range, but it is fairly sealed. It has a stopper bearing inside of it, which basically goes up under the spool. That kind of protects it, and keeps that salt intrusion from getting in there and corroding everything on the inside. I have used it plenty, and it's smooth as ever. When you hear me, you don't hear anything on the inside. No crunching, nothing like that. which is great. The only noise that you're hearing is that line slapping. And speaking of line, another great thing about this reel is they use the long stroke spool. So essentially, it's a slightly taller spool to avoid wind knots and to get longer castability, because with every turn, that line is not going 1, 2, 3 right on top of each other. It's going 1, going down, halfway down, 3, getting all the way to the bottom, then going back up. And it's keeping your line more spread out, which helps avoid wind knots, which, if you've never experienced wind knots, are when you are casting and you're reeling. You might have reeled a slack in a line or something, and you're reeling it all the way back in, and then you got to cast out, and there's a loop in there, and that stops you from casting, and then you've got a big mess to deal with. So their long stroke spool helps avoid that. I've definitely gotten wind knots on this reel, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know any spinning reel that I haven't. Even on the Vanford, I've gotten wind knots, which is almost double the price as this. But either way, that really helps prevent it. Compared to the reels, specifically non-Shimano reels, because Shimano uses that technology on all of the reels now for the most part. I don't know about their lower line spinning reels, but I know from this reel up, they use the long stroke spool, which is a huge plus, especially for castability too, because the line is just slipping off that much easier because it's not on top of each other, or not on top of itself as much. But overall, I've been super happy with this reel for the time that I've had it, which has been a fairly long time. I don't like the reel reviews unless it's an unboxing or something where they hype up a reel and they haven't used it before, and I'm not associated with the brand that makes this reel or anything like that. I am giving my fair opinion. I am a Shimano lover, and my buddy Nick Rogers has put me onto them, and David Rudeau has as well, and I haven't looked back. But not to say I haven't tried a lot of other spinning reels. I've tried Penn and a few other brands out there, and I have just not been as satisfied as a budget reel like this, where you can get, for less than $200, you can get a reel that you don't have to worry about too often, and it's a workhorse. Reeling in, I've put some heat on this reel, and I still haven't had any issues. I have had the drag go silent once, and that worried me. And I ended up taking the spool off, taking the drag washers out, kind of replacing them, which was not hard to do. This isn't a complicated process if you haven't done that before. And kind of replacing them, I think they got so stuck together since they had never been taken out before. And once I put them back on and kind of rotated differently, they acted fine. And that wasn't something that, interrupted my fishing. I was just curious why it went silent. But anyway, yeah, besides that, I've had zero issues with this reel. Every major retailer has this reel, and I would recommend it. If you're not trying to break the bank, not trying to go for a Stratic, and the Stratic is extremely similar to this reel. There's a few other upgrades, one being that it's slightly lighter. I think that's the main thing though. But yeah, this reel can do it all for the most part. Anything from freshwater lakes to inshore saltwater. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to go check this reel out. Obviously, I highly recommend it, especially if you're not trying to break the bank. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I do a lot of snakehead fishing, a lot of redfish, a lot of striped bass. I kind of do a mix of everything on here on the Chesapeake Bay and try to explore a little outwards as well. So a little mix of everything in this channel. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.